This week on The Travel Show, I'm in Lebanon. Finding out why Beirut is hoping to regain its reputation as the entertainment capital of the Middle East.
We have amazing people who are doing work that is internationally recognised.
Also coming up, I'll be discovering how an ordinary man became the king of his own castle. Did he build it himself?
Himself, stone by stone. It took him 73 years.
Plus, Lucy hits the British countryside to check out the latest hiking gadgets.
GoPro, take a photo.
With its mix of minarets and church spires, Lebanon's capital, Beirut, is an intoxicating clash of cultures and religions between the Mediterranean and the Middle East. And I've come at a special time for the city. This year marks 75 years since this nation finally gained its independence, the birth of modern Lebanon. For 4 centuries, it was the Ottomans who ruled here, right up until the end of the First World War, when control was handed to the French. It wasn't until 1943 that the struggle for self-rule finally paid off. Now, this statue here in Martyr Square was put here to commemorate all of those who died resisting Ottoman rule in the name of Lebanese independence. Today, the statue is pocked with bullet holes, scarred by the civil war that tore this city apart in the 1970s and 80s and made Beirut a byword for sectarianism and conflict. A significant proportion of the city's historic buildings have been torn down. And on the ones that are still standing, the damage caused by the war is clearly visible. But it wasn't always this way. In the 1960s, Beirut was the height of glamour, dubbed the Paris of the Middle East. And few spots epitomized this ideal better than one of the city's 5-star destinations. This commemorative book was produced a few years ago to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the hotel. And when you look through it, it really gives you an idea of the caliber of celebrity who stayed here. I mean, they've got Marlon Brando, there's Bridget Bardot, even the great Muhammad Ali.
I was coming to the Phoenicia since the beginning. We used to do fashion shows here, and this is a very special hotel.
Mona Ross is an international model who was based in Beirut before the war. Wow. Mona Ross, take a seat. Now she's a permanent resident of the hotel.
I mean, it's part of my life. I consider I'm part of the columns of the Phoenicia. Maybe I'm...
You're part of the furniture, yeah.
Part of the furniture.
You're part of the fabric of the whole hotel. When the war came, the hotel became a battleground, a key strategic point because of its size and downtown location.
I was passing by next to the Phoenicia when it was destroyed. And I saw a little plant, hibiscus plant with little red flowers on it. And I was so touched by this, and I couldn't believe my eyes, why this plant is alive in front of this hotel who was dead.
Today, a generation of young Lebanese are determined to shake the dust and debris from the city's reputation.
This is nice. Where have you brought me to, Lisa?
So we're in an area called Mar Mikhail. When you come during the day, you can actually discover a lot of art galleries, concept stores, but then at night time it completely changes. So you can see there are a number of bars and restaurants, so it's quite buzzing at
My sort of
night.
place. I think a lot of people, when they think about Lebanon or Beirut, their perception is a country that is war-torn and is full of violence.
The war is part of Lebanon's history, but it doesn't define the country. We have this amazing art scene. We have a lot of designers and artists and film producers, architects, amazing people who are doing work that is actually internationally recognized. And I think that is the best way for people to really understand what this country is like.
Lisa takes me to Central Station, which was recently named among the world's 50 best bars to try Lebanon's national drink, arak.
Cheers, enjoy. Thank you. Oh, that's strong. It's got a real aniseed taste. You couldn't drink that too quickly. You have to take your time. So is this the drink that young Lebanese people are drinking?
Actually, this is a drink you normally enjoy with family over a long lunch. A lot of the bars, especially Central Station, they are creating these very innovative cocktails that celebrate the flavors of Lebanon in a very interesting way.
So here's a modernist falafel.
Oh.
It's a deconstructed falafel sandwich with vodka as the base, using the falafel spices.
This is so nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, falafel cocktail.
Yeah.
Oh, that is good. You know what? That's like a drink that also feels like dinner. Yeah, I like this better than the arak.
And it's the nightlife that's really putting Beirut back on the map. The music hall is one of the capital's most famous venues, hosting a cabaret packed with an eclectic mix of musical forms.
I said I'm going to create a place where you will have extremes. It can be classical music and then something that is totally punk or very kitsch. I always like to mix things, to be very eclectic. I try to work on cultural entertainment. Usually those two words do not meet because entertainment is nightlife and alcohol, and culture is museums and theaters.
With its bill celebrating both the city's pre-war golden age and contemporary music trends, the music hall offers a vision of Beirut comfortable with its past and living in the moment. And if you're thinking of heading to Lebanon, here are the travel show's top tips for things to know before you go. Lebanon is an all-year-round destination with relatively mild winters and warm summers. But if you want to stay clear of the crowds, it's best to avoid August when things get busy. Whilst most of the country is perfectly safe to explore, there are some areas that have travel advisories against them, like the border with Syria. So it's always best to check with your own government's online advice first if you're planning a road trip. For some of the best views of the country, check out one of Lebanon's most popular attractions, the Teleferique aerial cableway, just north of Beirut. The gondolas will take you 650 meters up and you'll get breathtaking views of the Bay of Junia and the surrounding city, all topped off by the statue of Our Lady of Lebanon and a stunning basilica. And if you're more into snow than sea and sun, then don't forget that Lebanon is home to the Middle East's biggest ski resort. You'll find almost 50 miles of piste up to around 8,000 feet on the slopes of Mount Lebanon. The town of Mazar is the main resort, where you'll also find a buzzing après-ski scene once you've hung up your skis for the day.